Are you seriously questioning my authority right now? Because that's exactly what this classic textbook. Karen, her name's Rebecca Hamilton, shrieked at me the morning she planted herself in front of my golf cart, arms folded like she was personally defending the border. I mean, you ever have one of those moments where you realize someone's about to call the cops on you for just existing? Yeah, that happened. She blocked my path, demanded to see a permit for my cart like I was running some kind of illegal golf cartel on my own property, and started treating me like I'd just broken into Fort Knox. It gets better. She was so convinced of her own authority that she called 911 breathlessly, reporting a security threat that needed immediate removal. I just sat there sipping my coffee, waiting for the local PD to roll up. Because here's the thing, and this is the twist, sometimes the person you're attacking actually owns everything you think is yours. The cops were about to witness a meltdown for the ages, and if you've ever wanted to see karma show up in a squad car, well, buckle up. Saturday mornings out on that course are usually my favorite time. The dew's still fresh on the grass, son, just starting to warm up the greens, the kind of perfect, sleepy silence that makes you feel like the world might actually be okay for once. That morning I was out there in my custom black electric cart, sleek, quiet, not your grandpa's golf buggy, mapping out the layout for our annual charity tournament. I'm rolling along lost in thought when I see her Rebecca marching across the fairway with this sense of purpose that just screamed, "Here comes trouble." She had that look, early 50s, perfect blonde helmet hair, crisp polo khakis, the attitude of someone who's been dying for a fight since sunrise. She plants herself right in front of my cart, eyes blazing. "Stop right there, I manage this community," she says like she's the sheriff of Pinewood Hills. Now I'd seen her around before, never had a problem. But today she looked like I'd driven a monster truck through her rose bushes. "Who said you could use that cart?" "Where's your permit?" she demanded, pointing at my ride like it was a stolen spaceship. I tried to keep things cool just like I used to in business meetings when clients got heated. "Good morning. Is there a problem?" I said, figuring maybe she'd gotten up on the wrong side of her HOA rulebook. "Nope." That answer flipped some switch in her head. Her voice got loud, arms started waving. She's practically conducting an orchestra of outrage. "That's not an answer. I'm calling the police," she declared, whipping out her phone like she was about to hit the launch button. I probably should have felt bad for her, but honestly, the whole thing was so over the top, I just let her go. "Ma'am, I'd think twice about that call," I told her, but she was way past reason. "Don't threaten me." "I know my rights," she yelled, finger poised over those numbers like she was calling in an airstrike. I couldn't help but smile. If she only knew what was coming next. She'd worked herself up into such a lather there was no turning back. People like that they'd rather crash and burn than admit they made a mistake. "Watch me," she said, dialing with all the conviction of someone about to become the hero of their own soap opera. I let her do her thing quietly, texted my right-hand man Tom Showtime. Rebecca spent the next 10 minutes strutting up and down, painting me as public enemy number one to the dispatcher, acting like she was defending the community from some unknown menace. And you know what? I almost admired the confidence. The way she had rehearsed this, probably lying awake at night waiting for the moment when she could finally flex on someone. Well, the sirens start in the distance and Rebecca's face lights up. She really thought this was her victory lap. What she didn't realize was that she'd just triggered a chain of events that would flip her whole world upside down. The cruiser pulls up. Officer Martinez steps out, a guy with the weary look of someone who's dealt with Rebecca's brand of neighborhood drama before. "Miss Hamilton, what's the issue this time?" he says. And the way he hit this time, I just about lost it. Rebecca dives right in with her performance, gesturing at me. My cart, the whole 9 yards, her voice climbing and falling like she's auditioning for daytime TV. This man is using our golf course without permission. He refuses to show permits. He's clearly violating community rules. I swear the woman missed her calling as a prosecutor. Officer Martinez listens calm as can be, every so often glancing my way, probably trying not to roll his eyes. Finally, he turns to me. "Sir, do you have authorization to be on this property?" I reach into my golf bag, hand him the folder I keep for just such occasions, property access permit signed, Sealed, completely legal. He looks it over, checks with dispatch, and says no violation. You could see the gears grinding to a halt in Rebecca's head. The blood drains from her face. What? How is that possible? She stammers. Sometimes things aren't what they appear, I tell her, trying not to sound too smug. But the damage is done. Officer Martinez gives her the false police report. Talk hands my documents back and gives me this little nod. Like, who are you really? I just smile. Let's just say I have a vested interest in keeping the peace around here. He heads back to his car, and I watch Rebecca storm off defeated for the moment, but you could tell this wasn't over. You know how it goes with people like her. Most would have called it quits, taken the L, and tried to save face. Not Rebecca. She spent the next 48 hours running what I can only describe as amateur detective hour. She lurked behind trees, snapped photos with her phone, recruited her neighbor to walk his dog. At just the right time, she even wore sunglasses and a floppy hat at the clubhouse, trying to spy on me like some discount Bond villain. By Monday, she'd started grilling the pro shop staff about my membership, my suspicious behavior, anything she could dig up. Then came the message board campaign, blasting the neighborhood chats with urgent warnings about the strange man with the custom cart, suggesting management was getting paid off, demanding a community meeting. Half the residents were rolling their eyes. The other half were buying in. Rebecca spun the story like a pro, omitting just enough details to make herself look like the embattled hero. She never mentioned the police confirmed my authorization, of course. Selective storytelling politicians could learn a thing or two from her. Meanwhile, Tom's getting flooded with calls. Half the community thinks you're a Bond villain. The other half thinks Rebecca's lost her mind, he tells me. I can only say no comment so many times before people start thinking I'm hiding something. Then comes Rebecca's masterstroke and emergency community safety meeting to demand answers about my presence. She reserved the main room, made flyers, hyped it up like the town was under siege. What she didn't know, Tom and I were more than ready. Tuesday night, the Pinewood Hills Community Center was packed, 40, maybe 50 residents, everyone buzzing, waiting to see what threat Rebecca had uncovered. She's at the front with her projector, blown up photos of me and my cart timelines, the works. This man has been using our golf course without permission, she says, clicking through slides. He claims to have special permits, but management refuses to answer our questions. What are they hiding? As she ramps up for the big reveal, Tom walks in, briefcase in hand, that quiet, commanding energy that makes people straighten up and listen. He waits till Rebecca finishes her dramatic closing, demanding I be removed for community safety, then stands up calm as a surgeon. Ms. Hamilton, thank you for raising these concerns, he says, and the room goes still. I think it's time we clarify a few things. He introduces himself. I work for the company that owns this property, and starts pulling out documents addressing the residents with that slow, measured confidence that lets you know he's about to drop a bomb. Miss Hamilton, meet Nathan Cross, he says, gesturing at me in the back. He owns this golf course and all the houses here, including yours. The room goes silent. You could have heard a golf tee drop. Rebecca's face cycles from confusion to horror as it sinks in. She'd spent the whole week harassing the guy who literally owns everything. But Tom's not done. He consults his file. Rebecca, you used to work at Nathan's company downtown. You were let go 3 years ago for customer complaints. A ripple of shock. She's not just harassing her landlord, she's harassing her ex-boss. But wait, there's more. Your mortgage. That's through Nathan's bank. You've been paying him rent all this time. That's the knockout punch. Rebecca goes pale, grips the table, her whole community leader persona crumbling in real time. Some residents look worried for her, others just stare. This is what it looks like when someone's reality shatters in front of a live audience. She stumbles out, people mumbling apologies to me, some trying not to laugh, the drama hanging in the air like static. Tom and I debrief as the place empties. I should have felt satisfied, and I did mostly. But people like Rebecca, they don't go quietly. Sure enough, the next day she's online with fake accounts accusing me of fraud, painting herself as a whistleblower, calling local news outlets spinning tales of corruption. Tom's team gathers every post, every lie, every attempt at slander. We file defamation charges, breach of her old company NDA harassment, the whole legal package. In court, the evidence is overwhelming. The judge, exasperated, hands down a $100,000 judgment. Rebecca loses her house, foreclosed, gone. She's banned from the community, forced to move 3 states away, her campaign of chaos finally costing her everything. 6 months later, the annual charity tournament she tried to sabotage raises $80,000 for local kids. The sand trap where she staged her meltdown. Kids call it Karen's Trap now and use it as a playground. New families move into her old house. The neighborhood breathes easier and life returns to something like normal. Tom tells me Rebecca's tried to start over somewhere else. Maybe she'll get her act together this time. I actually hope she does. Everyone deserves a shot at redemption, even people who confuse control with respect. But here's the lesson. Real authority doesn't come from yelling the loudest or calling the cops on your neighbors. It comes from treating people with decency and having the courage to admit when you're wrong. So next time you see someone in a black golf cart, maybe think twice before you try to run them off. You never know who actually owns the place. Now I gotta ask, what would you have done if you were in my shoes? Was justice served or did karma go too far? Drop your take in the comments. Let's see how you'd handle a Karen in your neighborhood. And if you made it to the end, hit that like and subscribe, because around here drama is always just a tee shot away.